Okay, my name is Ines. I'm 23 years old and I like traveling a lot. I've lived in different countries, and when I move to another country, I try to travel as much as I can and to neighbor countries.
Okay,
So,
why do you think you try to travel as much as you can?
because I like experiencing things firsthand. And when I can see pictures, but it's not the same thing as going and being there and being in touch with the people and going to places and seeing it with your own eyes.
Okay, so what do you think is the most important thing when you travel?
I will say getting in touch with the local people
Okay,
and seeing their way of life, what they do on a daily basis.
okay,
Yeah.
nice. Can you tell me about your last trip?
My last trip, where did I go? I went to Myanmar
Okay,
this summer in August. It was amazing. And it's one of my favorite countries.
okay,
And I really like it because it's so different to everything that we know here in this side of the world. And the people have a very different way of life. Like they live in, where the weather is good and they are every day in the street. Like most of their lives is in the street. They have like markets and their own stores, and all the food is in the street. Everyone eats in the street. Like restaurants are something that is not normal. Like Western people introduce restaurants to their community, and yeah, I really like it. It's very different. Like they're mostly Buddhist. There are some Muslims as well, and there are a lot of temples with Buddha. There are pagodas, and it's really really nice country and interesting. And they're not really used to seeing foreign people,
okay,
so they look at you like they stare at you in the street for a really long time. Like if you were, I don't know, like famous, like you feel like you're famous when you're walking in the street.
okay. And from your experience being there, what did you get to meet any local people or something?
Yes, yes. Well, especially people that work for like tourists, like tourist guides or the people in the hostels and hotels that we stayed. But yeah, we also try to talk to people in the market, but it's difficult because not many people speak English. So
Okay,
it's more like there was this one train that we got. It was local. It was 30 cents of euro, like the trip, and it was 3 hour train. And there was this guy. There was like a 60-year-old Myanmar guy, and he tried to speak with us even though that he didn't speak English. He was all the time pointing at us things and trying to explain it and trying to communicate with us.
nice. So you felt like the people was quite open.
Yeah, they're quite open.
Do you think that changed your experience in a way?
Yes, yes. It was way more welcoming. Like one of my favorite things about the country, I now think is one of my favorite countries that I've ever been to, and one of the reasons is because of the people, because they're really, even though they can't communicate with you, they're interested in you. Like they're not like ignoring you like in other countries. For instance, Vietnam is not that far away, but people just mind their business more. Here, like they're interested in knowing more about you,
Okay,
and they're open with their own lives.
okay. What does it mean for you to be a traveler?
I don't know. It means like I guess being a discoverer,
Okay,
like and also it's a bit of an adventure every time because you don't know what you're gonna find out. When I go on traveling, I'll do research, but I don't do like a full research to know what I'm gonna expect. I want to go like with no expectations and see what I find.
okay, nice. Do you have any strong view or opinion on the world
On the world.
in general? Anything that you think is really important for you?
In which sense?
Any sense, anything. It
I mean,
doesn't matter.
I think that traveling is really important because it opens people's minds. You don't see things in the same way. Even like something as basic as choosing what to study or what career do you want to do. Like when you've lived in the same place all your life, like you don't know that many things, and you think you want something, but then like, you start traveling and you say, do I really want that, or is it just because I never consider any other option?
Okay.
So I think it opens your mind and getting to know different people, their way of life. Yeah, I don't know. It just makes you question everything that you've known.
So you think that opening, if we were all to open our minds more, do you think that could have any impact on the way we see the world?
Yes, definitely.
Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Because when I talk to people, with my friends or just people that I meet, often the most opposite views to what I see are the people that haven't traveled as much. I mean, I don't want to be like a strong opinion about traveling, but I think I relate more to the people the people that travel a lot have similar views about the world, and the people who don't travel as much, between them they have the similar views about the world and about everyday's life.
Okay. So you think that when traveling, that's what makes it, like the fact that you meet like-minded individuals, people that think like you. Okay. Good. So we are gonna switch a bit, and we are gonna talk more like directly into travel and culture. So can you remember the best experience you've had while traveling? It can be any experience, and any travel, anytime.
It's probably not the best, but it's the only one that comes to my mind right now. So I once was in a hostel, and I was with a friend, and we went traveling to Thailand. We were in Bangkok, and we met a Portuguese guy. He was around 45 years old, and he had lived since he was around 16, 17 years old. He had traveled and lived in very different countries. Like he was never settled until like 10 years before, so he was 45 from 16 till 35. He was all the time traveling and living in different places, and that was a really enriching experience. Like he told us so many things. He had been all over the world. He told us he went to an island with only 2 other people. It was desert in India, in the south of India. So he was like, wow, we want to do that. And we learned so much about that guy. Like it's been now 3 or 4 years since that trip, but I still remember that guy.
How did you meet him? Exactly.
We were in the hostel. Just people talk to you and you talk to people. Yeah.
Okay. Has this happened like a lot when you're in hostels?
Yes, like people just all the time they try to. Sometimes you even go and ask, like, hey, have you been to this place? Because, I don't know, we have 2 days here. We want to know what it's really worth it to see. So you want to know, although you have travel guides in the internet or like you can buy one, it's better to know, from my point of view, it's better to know people's experience and say, oh, this is free, because you can see, like you can do your own research, but then like the weather conditions can be different, can be constructing something different, or like I don't know, there are changes every month. So it's better to know like someone that's been there like the last week or the last several days.
What is for you the most interesting thing about a culture in general?
Culture. I guess it's always for me surprising how, like, if they're happy or not, the way they live. Because, for instance, Myanmar people, I feel like they're very happy and cheering all the time, even if they're just sitting on the street selling their fruits or whatever. They're doing nothing the whole day, but I feel like they're in peace and they're not like sad or frustrated to be there. Like someone in the market, well, I'm Spanish, and if I go to a market in Spain, maybe like people are bored there, like waiting for customers, but they're not really having the time of their lives.
Okay. So how does that make an impression on you in terms of like going, like when you finish traveling, what's the things that you remember more?
Mm, I don't know. I guess. Let me think about any of the trips because I'm too focused on the last one. Um, it depends. Like, do you mean about people or just the country or the sites?
The country in general. It can be anything.
Yeah. Sometimes I remember landscapes. Sometimes I remember people. I don't know. It depends. Like a monument that is really beautiful or something, or impressive for any reasons.
Okay. So I'm gonna give you some photographs, and I'd like you to work like we're all in the same page, and I'd like you to pick two objects that you think you would definitely bring to a trip. Okay. Yeah?
A camera, definitely,
Okay.
and a phone. Well, hold on. There's a suitcase, so I am taking a suitcase. Camera and suitcase.
Okay. Why would you bring those objects?
I wouldn't take a laptop.
Okay.
Like, there's no need really. And a guide. If I don't always use like paper guides. I use if I want to check something, I check it on my phone or like on a computer that I find wherever I am. And many times we ask about if you have a question, you can always ask to hotels, the people that are there, or just go to a tourist point. And I don't take a notebook. Like I've tried sometimes to take notes when I travel, but it never really works. I just go to sleep when I'm really tired. I never really end up writing.
Okay.
So yeah.
Why do you think you would bring the suitcase?
I don't know, because I wear clothes and I always like try to be prepared for everything. So I try to get something that won't get too wet if it rains a lot. I'm taking the camera because if I don't take pictures, it's like if I didn't go. Because after a while, when you see pictures, you remember more things than what you remember after time. And yes, I always take a lot of pictures. But I'm not like the typical freak that's all the time taking pictures and not enjoying the moment. Like goes, takes the pictures and goes away. No, like I'm there, I look at it, I enjoy the moment, but I do take a lot of pictures. Especially with people more than landscapes.
Okay. Why do you think that is?
Because, I don't know, I like people. I think it gives you like a wider understanding of how the country is.
Okay. So what would you say that if let's say I show you a picture of someone, what do you think, like from one picture of like a person, what do you think you can tell in general?
In general. Well, it depends on the picture, but I can. It might not say anything about the country. It might be. Sometimes it's just a picture that could be taken anywhere, but other times you can tell like if they're sad, if they're happy, if they're having a good moment, where they are, like background, if it's like a monument or if it's something like just a place, a store in the street, or I don't know. It gives you context.
Okay, so I'm gonna switch the topic now a bit, and it's gonna be more like brand advertising related questions. Okay.
Okay.
So can you tell me the last thing you've seen online that has touched you, that you remember?
Yeah. Can't think about something. Probably something in Facebook. I use Facebook a lot. I follow pages where they put videos or pictures. So yeah, I follow a traveling page that posts pictures of different places. And I saw a really nice picture taken in national park in the Rocky Mountains in Canada.
Okay.
And I really liked that one. It was really amazing because it was a lake and the mountains, and the reflection of the mountains and the lake was perfect.
Okay. So what do you think that makes you remember that picture?
It was really beautiful. I don't know, the colors were beautiful. I've been there. I went there like a year and a half ago, so it was like something special.
Have you ever shared content with a brand? Like, let's say, like, share the hashtag or something like that?
Not really, because I'm not very active on social media.
Okay.
The only thing I do, like sometimes I post pictures, and in Twitter I retweet, but I never like post my own things.
Okay.
Like I would like to do that at some point, but I never like find the time.
Okay. So, why do you think that people do it?
I think it's because it's useful for other people, and also when you take a really nice picture and you're enjoying the place, you want to share that with other people.
So, do you think there's something that would motivate you to help someone create something in a broad sense? Or like, let's say, a company or like a big corporation
If there's something that will motivate me to
to
what?
help them create something.
Motivate me like what?
Like, what would make you say, yes, I'm gonna help them?
Yeah, why wouldn't I help them? Like, it depends what they're saying, like what they're asking for.
Okay.
I mean, if I think I can do it, I'll probably say yes. And if I like the company,
Okay. So, is that important? Would that be important for you? Like the type of company that's asking you to do it?
yes.
Why?
Because if I don't like the company, maybe, I mean, it depends on what they're asking, but if I don't like the company, I might not do it. Like, I'm not working in that industry, so it will be like something personal that I would like to do for like leisure. So if I'm doing it, it's because I enjoy it. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe if we're in the case scenario that the pay is good, maybe I'll do it, but probably I'll go more for like, if I like the company, I'll do it.
What kind of companies do you like?
In general, or you mean about travel?
In general, it can be in general.
I don't know.
Or like, for example, Coastal World as a company. What do you like about them?
As a company, I don't know much. I've been to some of their hostels, and they have like a very good variety, and my experience was always good. I went to some of their hostels in Australia and in Barcelona.
Okay.
Yeah, my experience was great. Actually, the one in Barcelona is really pretty. Like the decoration is amazing, the rooms are good. It doesn't look like a hostel at all.
Okay.
And I don't know much about them as a company.
Okay. What does travel planning mean to you?
Planning ahead of traveling.
Okay. How do you usually do it?
Well, first I choose the cities that I want to go to. So I see which are the main ones, like what are the main touristic places, and not only touristic places, but interesting places, even though they're not that touristic. I always like to do something that nobody does, like not to be special, but just to get like their local atmosphere. Because when you go to all the tourist places, then sometimes you're just with tourist people, and the locals are so prepared to receive tourists that they're not really like authentic.
Okay.
So yeah, I just decide which cities I want to visit, and then I look for transportation. I always decide transportation before like exactly deciding what I'm gonna see in that place.
Okay.
And yeah, I normally focus on that because I travel with more people, so we divide our tasks. So I'm always more about looking to the planes or the buses or the trains, whatever we're taking, and they're more about saying, okay, we have to do this, that, and that.
Okay.
It depends also who has friends that they've been there. So we always ask, okay, what do you recommend us to do? Like, do you visit this place and wasn't that amazing at all? And there was this one that you thought that you would like to spend more time there. So that's how we planned our last trip.
How do you think you get to learn about different countries?
My parents love traveling since I was a kid, so they always took me with them since I was like 2 years old.
So is it more like a sort of word of like, do you ask them and they like tell you, or
What do you mean? Like they asked me
like
about?
when you want to learn about a country, do you look for information, or you think it's like there's another way of like learning about it?
If you know people that are from there, they're from that country, I ask them. Or if I know friends that have been recently, or not recently, but if I know friends, I remember that I have a friend that's been there, I'll ask them. But I always do research in the internet as well.
Okay.
Like, there are websites where they have descriptions about countries, and I used to look at that.
Okay. So let's say that you are going to have some time off work and studying soon, but you don't know where to go. What would you do?
Well, I will look at how many days I have off, and depending on that, I'll say priorities of countries that I want to visit, and then I'll see if I have time enough to do the whole trip, or I should wait until I have more days, more weeks. And also if this the appropriate season to go, because if it's too cold or there's raining a lot, there are things that you have to take under consideration to see if you're really going to enjoy it. And then I check the prices of the planes, and then with all those three aspects, I make up my mind.
Okay. So I have these images I want to show you, and I have to ask you to tell me what's the best online experience for you based on those images. So you can pick as many as you want, depending on what they represent for you.
Okay. Which ones I like? I have to choose which ones I like.
Or which one, if I ask you, what's your best online experience? The best sort of like internet experience that you can have, and you have to describe it with these images. Which ones would you pick?
Like online experience, yeah, researching with,
Any online experience.
I guess it's probably videos.
Okay.
Yeah, I think images communicate more than anything else, especially if they move.
Okay.
A video. So this one,
Okay.
and also the hands holding other people's arms,
Okay.
because it represents like an agreement between people, I guess, like people thinking and agreeing or discussing about something.
Okay.
And I like this one. This is something personal because it means like having an idea. Like how do you call it?
Yeah. So why do you think you picked the idea on relation to your online internet experience?
Because I guess like the point of putting out media content in the internet is to motivate you to do something.
Okay.
So it does motivate people. It's effective. That's how it works, and it gives you like an idea to do things.
Okay. And what kind of videos do you like on the internet?
Like, well, I don't know. In general, the ones that show like landscapes and beautiful places. But also it can be just people, like a normal video of someone talking can also be interesting, depends on what they're saying. But I will go more with landscapes.
Okay. Okay. Um, how would your ideal trip be?
I don't know. My ideal trip. I don't know. I guess somewhere where I've been wanting to go for a long time,
Okay.
and I finally managed to go. And like, I don't know. I go with a friend, for instance, and we have like a nice room, like it's comfortable, and like I like places where you have everything. Like maybe it's a bit too demanding, but like if you have nice beaches, if you have the mountain, and you can do some excursions, it's like in the forest or something. Like the local people, markets. I think there's are monuments, different monuments to what we are used to see. I find that interesting.
Okay.
Different religions as well. That normally has an impact on the culture and people, so you can see that.
Okay. So, do you think that depending on like the place, do you think that gets represented on the people that live there?
Totally, yeah. Yeah, everyone is different. Like, even among your country, everyone, like if you live north, south, by the beach, by the mountain, if the weather is better, if the weather is worse, that affects people. If you live in a small town or if you live in a big city, yeah, that affects everyone.
Okay. Do you think it can go the other way around? Do you think like you can see someone and from seeing them you can learn things about a culture?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Like, they will tell you everything, what they do, what they know. For instance, I had a Turkish friend, and I learned a lot of things about the Turkish culture. Just, although I had already been in Istanbul, I learned more through her than going to Istanbul about Turkish people and Turkish culture.
Okay.
Although I met her like